and welcome to Taking Pacific 4, a Deadzone campaign podcast. My name's Jake. I'm joined by Adam.
Hey.
Richie.
Hey.
And Ben.
Yo.
Today we had our first game of the campaign, and I'm actually going to kick it over to Adam. He can explain what's going on in this little corner of the galaxy.
Yeah, so this is a custom campaign that I made. Just a kind of quick thing with that. If you ever want to make a custom campaign, it's pretty simple. Just figure out what everybody wants to play for their faction, and then just go ahead and base the story off of that. I like having a story into it. So I'll just kind of just read what I wrote for the story here. So a quick heads up with that, though. There was, a while back, if anybody plays a lot of Deadzone, there was a summer campaign about 2 years ago now where they introduced the Nameless. And this is happening long after that, and so we're just kind of kicking it off from there. So, after the events of the Nameless invasion from the Marianas Curtain, many corporations began to study the strange creatures and their behaviors. Though trade agreements seemed foreign and strange to the odd aliens, many corporations noticed that if they could avoid Nameless activity in the sector, they could ultimately gather valuable resources that the Nameless found unattractive for some unknown reason. Capitalizing on this information, Sledgehammer Industrial decided to return to Pacific 4, a planet it had initially lost in the invasion. Reestablishing a base meant far less profits, but still an opportunity to salvage the situation. Money has started to flow back in at a far slower rate, and the Nameless are ignoring them for the most part. Only small recon missions were commissioned to keep an eye on the new leaders of the planet. Initial recon was promising. Only a small group of old corporation workers seemed to remain, and with their value essentially turning to zero, with the decreased production, these people were determined to not be worth the risk of reacquiring. On top of this, many of them were already captured by their new Nameless masters and were being experimented on in quite horrifying manners. For the most part, though, the strange aliens seemed quite occupied with bringing up some resource from the depths of the ocean rather than dealing with Sledgehammer directly. However, curiosity has always been a problem of every corporation in the GCPS. After approval of a smash-and-grab mission to obtain the strange substance being mined, Sledgehammer discovered the Nameless had found what appeared to be a large pocket of the stable form of Element 115, Moscovium. After reporting to the corporate heads, Sledgehammer instantly approved the attack against the Nameless to take the resource before it was mined up. A full-blown invasion was impossible, so Sledgehammer made do with capturing through small skirmishes. Though the feat seemed easy at first, 2 new threats emerged, making the entire area a war zone. First, Korvac Trade Industries intercepted the rather excited transmission of their rival, Sledgehammer. Excited at the prospect, but with no forces in the immediate vicinity, they were forced to contact whatever leftover mercenaries they could who were still hanging around after the invasion. And they were in luck. Blaine and his band of mercenaries were looking for a score of easy money to get back on track, and were immediately commissioned to take out the opposition and hold it for Korvac till their mining equipment could arrive. Next, the downtrodden workers watched day after day, while their old corporation flew in the skies only to become bitter at the fact that their employers had no desire for rescue. Each day, the Nameless abducted more and more for their strange experiments. Each day, the workers became more and more bitter till all hope was lost. Fed up, they contacted a nearby rebel cell for help. Initially, the Rebs saw no point in saving these people other than good PR. Yet, when they found what was on the planet, they made a deal. Fight for us, and we will arm you. Once you prove your worth, and only then would a rescue come. Desperate, the people agreed and joined the rebel cause. Finally, the Nameless have seen the creatures moving against them. This world was theirs, as all worlds were. These things would not get in their way.
So everybody's going after the Moscovium. Sledgehammer has some disgruntled employees on the planet that decided to join with the Rebs. Terrible decision.
Oh, no.
Terrible decision. We have much better
Desperate
retirement
times.
packages.
And to be clear, like, in Deadzone, nobody's really the good guy. Everybody's pretty crap. So...
it's not like Star Wars where the rebellion is the heroes and fighting
in
for
fact,
justice.
that's why I even wrote into this that the Rebs literally had no desire to help these people until they found out the valuable resources there. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're totally, go ahead. We'll arm you. You got to prove yourself first. So they're totally using these people, but it's these people's only option. So.
And Ben, you're totally in it just for the money. Being
Oh, of course I am.
Corporation, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, which makes me the good guy because I'm just doing my job.
The most
Mercenaries are good guys. Okay.
Let's get started with your mercenaries. You want to talk about what you brought today?
Yeah,
your
sure.
100-point list.
So I am working for the Korvac Trade Industries. Today Blaine did not show his face because he has other important matters to attend to. He did issue out Hund Rebel Bounty Hunter to take his place, to take the front lines. With Hund, the Rebel Bounty Hunter, he was also escorted by Kirkila, my teleporting Teraton hacker / engineer, and he also was escorted by Nastanza, the really, really good sniper, and then a couple X-Corp Marines to kind of fill in the gaps.
That is a brutal team. That's a brutal team.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yes, it was.
We will get to that. Richie, how about you? You're playing the Rebs, right?
I'm playing the Rebs. So I brought in Rebel Cell Leader, the Sphere, and then I had a Rebel Sniper, Teraton, Sphere Hunter, 2 Rebel Troopers, and a Rebel Specialist to kind of hack some terminals and stuff.
And how many points? How many models is that total?
It's 7.
So you had 7, Ben. How many did you have in yours?
I had 5.
5. So you had a small team. So, yeah. Okay.
How about you, Adam? Playing the Nameless. You're the hostile, gross, nasty things that are taking over the planet.
Yeah, I really like the look of these guys, and so I actually kind of liked the humanoid-looking ones a little better. So I went with kind of a heavy humanoid-looking team, and I thought, because I really wanted to paint these guys, I wanted an excuse for that. So I brought the Fear as my leader. He's really good. And then for my troops, I actually brought 2 gunslingers. I really like those guys. And I brought an Inker, and my goodness, the Inker did amazing for what he was. And then I brought a Rifleman, and I brought an Assassin, and the Assassin's very powerful. But I did also take 2 things of ammo, and one was on the Fear, and one was on the Rifleman.
And I brought the GCPS. You know, somebody has to just be the boots on the ground, blue-collar, hard-working infantrymen. And yeah, I decided to take that punishment. So I brought a Major General. You know, his splats, they throw indirect artillery shots. I was thinking that'd be pretty cool. A Corporation Engineer, a heavy weapons squad with the mortar. So once again, in my mind, I was just going to be dropping bombs, disrupting my opponent. Didn't quite turn out that way. And then I brought 3 veterans, Corporation veterans, with 2 pieces of ammo. Adam, you want to talk about the objective? What were we fighting over today? What was the setup?
Yeah, so this is going to be a campaign. So we had started off with 250 points of army, and this first game you're only playing with 100 points. So it's a very small list. And my objective in this was to give opportunities to get more guys on your team, to get some more troops for free. And I think it worked out pretty well. I think everybody got some troops. The way I did that was with basically, again, more story. So what the Nameless have been doing when they experiment is they actually inject these like eggs into the host that can feed on the host. And they put them in those tanks, these stasis tanks. And these are the stasis tanks you'd get from Star Saga, if anyone's ever seen those. Tried to paint a few of them up. We didn't have completely all those, so I used some other things for tanks too. You'll see it in the battle report. And what happens is your goal is to break people out of these tanks. And 2 things can happen. So, well, first of all, the tanks, there's 8 of them. And they're completely at a diagonal across the board. And there's a few ways to break them out. One is just to shoot the tank. And that'll break the tank open. And another is to go up to a computer terminal and to hack the tank. And hacking is going to be kind of a theme in this campaign. What happens when you hack a terminal is if you are successful, you can pick any tank on the board and release one of your models from that tank. So imagine if, since I was nameless and I went up against Rebs, if I hack it and I'm successful, I can guarantee my nameless guy will come out of that. You can't guarantee what kind will come out, but you can guarantee that one of yours will come out. The other way is to shoot it. And if you shoot the tank, it's random. On a 1 through 4, a nameless is going to come out. On a 5 through 8, a Reb is going to come out. Well, if that would be if Richie's rolling. So on the high numbers, one of your guys comes out. On the low numbers, one of their guys comes out. Once a guy comes out of that, you get a victory point. So if I shoot the tank and it gives Richie a guy, he gets the victory point for that. Okay? When the guy comes out of it, he's activated and pinned, though. So he's in quite a vulnerable state. And I actually killed some that were pinned. So a lot of times one will come out of your own team, you get the victory point, and then the enemy team just shoots that guy, and he's dead, and they get a victory point. So it kind of works out. And the way we did it was each team was able to get 4 different guys. So after you break a tank open, you roll a D8. And on a 1 and 2, it gives you 1 guy. On a 3 and 4, another guy, and so forth. So you could have 4 guys that come out of the tanks. Now, other than that, you still got your victory points from shooting guys. But if you won the campaign, if you got to 12 victory points, you get 5 campaign points. If you opened more tanks than your opponent, you get 3 campaign points. And if you discover an intel through hacking, which is another option, you get 1 campaign point. So mainly the goal of this was after you open them up to get a guy, and you get to keep that guy. He goes back into your army roster.
And those campaign points you mentioned, those are just for deciding an overall winner of the campaign,
Correct.
Right?
Yep. Victory points are for winning the game. Campaign points are for winning the campaign.
Right, yeah. So as you mentioned, we had the Rebs versus the Nameless, and then GCPS versus Mercenaries today. Let's get into the games. Ben, you and me will start.
All right.
So, you want to take the lead on how it kind of started?
Well, at the start, it was actually a little rough on the Mercenaries. They actually forgot that the GCPS brought a mortar team.
Oh, yeah.
And they put all 3 of the big Mercenaries in one square, and they were hit hard.
We saw that opportunity, dropped a mortar round, and it went perfect. I hit, I rolled its indirect 4, and all 4 dice ended up being hit. So you're taking potentially 4 wounds. How many wounds total did you take?
Well, luckily, I think it hit the turtle's back because no wounds were taken on all 3.
Definitely deflected off that shell. And not only did the damage from the mortar not do any wounds, I even slammed your turtle into a wall for an additional opportunity to put wounds on him, and still nothing. And that's kind of the tone of the whole game. But here's the thing. Sledgehammer, we're on our last legs. We had some rough business dealings. We put a lot of investment into Pacific 4 when we were first here. We had to pull out because of the Nameless. And, our stocks are down. We just hired a new PR person. So, slowly but surely. And I think it was really our equipment that failed. So I dropped that mortar shot.
Yep.
You advanced a little bit.
I did advance a little bit with Nastanza. She was the only one I could really advance with. I brought her out. She did actually get a shot on your leader for the GCPS.
So, my Major General has the tiniest bit of his sword sticking out from some rubble. And this sniper, who just got rocked by a mortar, knocked on her butt, has to pick herself up. She still manages to run. You spend an extra shoot die, right?
Yep.
And you just...
And I also threw an extra 2 dice in the pool with my other dice also.
So you're rolling like 8 dice. I threw all my extra dice I could in there, and you just one shot, boom. Your first activation of the turn, my leader is gone.
Yep.
He's a smear on the wall.
That's the greatest thing with Nastanza, because she does shoot on 3s. So if you have a shoot die, she's extremely powerful, even though having a heavy weapon.
Yep. So So then so the rest of the first turn, we just kind of started to move out. I took some more shots at Stanza, which let her use evade, and she started climbing the tower.
Yep, she definitely evaded all the hits, and with every miss, she can get an extra free move, and I just started moving all around the board with her.
Yeah, my veterans didn't realize that the extra ammo they were spending to try to shoot her, those were the blanks that we use for practice. Once again, we haven't seen a lot of engagement recently. We're in a rebuilding stage. So turn 2 comes around, and my special dice aren't getting me anything. You're getting like 3 extra dice a turn, extra shoots, extra moves.
Well,
you didn't really
the
get extra
Stanza
moves,
did
you?
make a big mistake.
She did.
She shot for the sun. She kept climbing high, and
Yep.
I think her wings burned a little bit because she got hit by a mortar squad again.
Yeah, she climbed up to the top of a height 4 tower, and the mortar said, "Thank you." So once again, I hit her.
It could have been worse than what it was. Luckily, I did land on a building rather than all the way to the ground.
Yeah, there was a big tank trap where you landed. Thought that hopefully would have speared through you, but nope.
No.
So yeah, so
She
hit sniper.
she did take a hit from the
did.
mortar.
One
but
wound. All
falling, she kind of caught herself. Still hit the ground, still knocked over, but she didn't take any damage from the fall.
And then, I mean, we can really kind of speed it up. It was just a tidal wave. Stanza blew out my mortar. Hund killed my engineer, so I had no chance at hacking the tanks. My veterans couldn't hit it. I was rolling 5 dice with weight of fire, so I'm getting rerolls. I'm spending ammo, and I'm just rolling no successes. And you were just blasting me.
It was just a steamroll.
The game ended 16-5. How did I get those 5 victory points?
Well, I kind of gave them to you by
Thank
shooting
you.
tanks.
So you start shooting tanks, and I don't want to be wrong here. Was it every single tank you shot? You got me...
No, the
3 extra
very
people?
last tank I shot, and I got a
Finally.
I got a guy out of
Yeah.
that. But every other tank, which was the 3 tanks,
Yep. So
3
all
tanks
my
I
victory
shot.
points came from him shooting tanks, and it ended up being my recruit inside. I got 1 off the board for even more victory points.
so you got the 1 from each tank, which was 3 victory points. When he moved the guy off the board, that was where's the other 2 victory
that was
points
worth
came
2.
from.
So other than that, on my own, I scored 0 victory points. It wasn't bad, though. Sledgehammer's happy. We ended up gaining 2 Marine specialists. We also gained a Marine recruit. And at the end of the day, you know what? This was very lucrative for us. We got a bunch of money. How was Korvac feeling after this engagement?
They were very impressed. We somehow did not make away with as much money as the GCPS team did, but
You probably have higher operating costs than we do.
well, yeah, it does. Using actual bullets in the fight.
Yeah, that probably, yeah. So, but you did get a few new recruits, right? A couple lab guys?
Yeah, I got 2 lab techs and just another ex-corp marine.
So not bad, not bad. Adam and Richie, how'd your guys' game go?
It went alright, I think. The Rebels, we managed to get a lot of troops this time. We opened up all 8 tanks overall through the game. And we were able to get 5 of them for ourselves as our troops, so that worked out really well.
It kind of was terrible. I'd shoot a tank, and it wasn't too bad, but one of them was hacked. Richie hacked one, so that kind of helped there. But yeah, I ended up with 3 guys, so I didn't feel too bad about how many guys I got. I did lose overall, but it was kind of nice. So at the start, I won the recon roll, and he had put his sniper. Richie put his sniper in a place he thought was hidden, but he only thought about me going up, and I tried to check that, and I was like, yeah, I totally can't see that if I move up a level. But instead what I did was I moved over, and from there I could just barely see his sniper, and I took a shot at it, and I had an extra shoot action even, but just 1 shot took it down. After that, I was kind of foolish. I ended up shooting at the Teraton and didn't do anything, and that was with my leader. The Fear can shoot, man. He's got very long range. And he also has weight of fire 1 and shooting on 4s. That's pretty darn good. On top of that, we also have... I had some opportunities to do some extra activating, to get some more shots off. So right off the beginning, I kind of started out.
You had a really strong start, I think, and I was kind of struggling at the beginning because I think I was down by 4 points round 1 or something like that.
Yeah, you were down. I think it was like 4-0, and I did the first couple of things I broke out were mine.
Yeah.
So it was starting to look good, like things are going my way, and it changed, didn't it?
It definitely did. I managed to break open a couple tanks that gave me troops, and that was really good.
And not just regular troops, like the best troops you could get, which are which ones?
The Spear Hunters.
The Spear Hunters. They're so good. They can fight. They can shoot. They got ep1.
And they have Frenzy even.
And they have Frenzy even on fights. So they're powerful little troops. And it just kept giving him those guys. And like I got like a Scuttler, I got an Inker, and I got one of those needle drones. I was actually one guy who could have a specialist, so could Jake, and I did get lucky enough to get one of those needle drones. But they don't do damage, so I kind of counted them as okay. Only 10 points. And they just kept opening for you.
Yeah, and they were in a good spots too, where you couldn't shoot at them the first turn, and then I got to use them the next turn to help me defeat you.
Now, as for kills, though, you only killed 3 of my main guys.
Yeah, and you killed like 7 or 8 of my models, I think.
Yeah.
So, like, kill-wise, you were rocking it.
I was rocking it. But objective-wise, you got guys off the board. You got guys out of the tank. I even at one point, kind of sneakily, got your leader. I went and took your leader down. The assassins, they're very powerful. But oddly enough, my MVP was this little Inker. Okay, do you want to kind of describe how that went with the little Inker?
So what did I have? I think I had a spear.
You had a Spear Hunter.
Yeah, I had a Spear Hunter, and he brings his Inker in to fight my Spear Hunter, and I'm like, okay.
And you survived it the first time,
No,
right?
I died.
Oh, you died. Yeah. No, then you had another guy go in and fight
another
it.
guy bring in and fight it. You kill him.
And I just
too.
boom.
And like, it was just.
It's crazy. But that was my undoing. The issue is I thought, this Inker's my MVP. He can't die. He can't lose. And so what I did was I took him and I charged in to where it's like right next to his back line, okay?
Yep.
Where he has a lot of guys left still because he broke so many out of the tanks. And the Inker fails that fight. And then he charges it. He kills that poor little Inker. Richie beat me by 1 point. If I would have just not been so greedy and I would have ran away with that little Inker, I might have won. I might have won.
Probably would have won, although I would have had to fight this gunslinger.
You would have had to fight the gunslinger. But the gunslinger had a resilient on him. Mm-hmm. It's tough. It's a tough call.
You might have won if you had run him away.
Might have. So we had an incredibly close game. We went through 3 or 4 rounds.
Three rounds.
It was 3 rounds?
The first round was... The second round, we were 10-10,
yeah.
I think.
So we went through a total of 3 rounds is all. No, we went through 4, didn't we? Because...
it was just 3, I thought.
You did a move. Okay, yeah. Your Teraton, surprisingly, didn't do that much. He did get some kills. He did get 2 of the 3 kills.
He got a grenade.
Yeah, he did get 2 of the 3 kills. So he was your killer. Who would you say was your MVP, I guess?
Probably my Teraton with the 2 kills. Like.
Yeah. And as for my worst, most useless guy, I don't know. I guess my rifleman did the least for me. I did open 2 tanks with him, but I think they gave a guy to you and a guy to me, so I don't really know.
And then I just killed him.
Yeah, you killed him. So the rifleman actually didn't work out for me because he came in with that Teraton, and I thought I actually had a perfect plan for the Teraton. The Teraton used a move die and a teleport, and you know how far that can take a Teraton. So I ended up deciding, you know what? I'm going to do the one thing very few people do. I'm going to fire for effect on that Teraton. And I did.
You did.
And did it work?
No.
Yeah, I did.
Well,
no, fire effect.
Yeah,
I
knocked him.
I knocked your Teraton down.
Do what you wanted.
And so I thought, now he can't teleport. He's useless, right? Wrong. Because the Teraton has...
A grenade.
A 1-use frag launcher. He launched it on my cube.
And you had 2 models.
I had 2 models there. I shouldn't have done that. I should have shot from down below. I could have, and I didn't do it. And that ended up killing my rifleman, and it knocked down and wounded the other one, which you finished off later. Yeah, that's the same guy you finished off later.
You're right. Yep.
Another one charged up. So, I mean, we had an incredibly close game. It was actually 13 for me, 14 for Richie. You need 12 points to win, but you don't win till the end of the round.
Which
and so
worked out for me.
Worked out for you, because I actually got to 12 points first, didn't I?
You did.
So you do have an opportunity to catch up, and yeah, that was an incredible game. I love games that are so close like that. So my nameless, they are feeling pretty good. They got some of their guys out, but they are a little shaken by this. How are your Rebs feeling?
I think they're feeling pretty good. You know, they got 5 new recruits. No one really got killed, actually. You know, they had 2 medics on standby. They just healed them up, and they're all good. So even though we lost 7 models on the field, we were able to heal them all back up to...
Sweet.
Did you have to use a medic reroll in the end? So you,
I did.
So,
2 of them.
Yeah, I ended up using 2.
Oh, boy.
I mean, technically, I could have not used the 1, because it was just injured for 1 game, but I chose to.
Yeah.
So I have no options.
So, yeah, Ben, did you have a MVP?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say it was Nastanza, just from her
Easily.
slaughter fest.
Yeah. She killed my leader. She killed my weapons team. She killed 2 guardsmen, probably.
I think at least one.
At least one.
Yeah, she just kept getting headshots.
Do you feel like anybody didn't pull their weight, or not really?
You know, actually, the Terton Turtle, because the first round he got knocked down, he couldn't teleport into position and start hacking right away.
Slowed him down a lot.
It slowed him down a lot, and so he didn't hack until turn 3. And so he just saved 1 guy is all. That's it.
Yeah. My MVP is easily your leader, Hund. He shot 3 tanks and got me 3 recruits and victory points, so...
I'm glad to hear that I have 2 MVPs on my team.
Yep. In all seriousness, I guess I'd have to get to my mortar. It's the only one that even came close to doing anything. And my least valuable player is my major general, my leader. I've played 3 games with GCPS. All 3 games, my leader just dies. They only survive on a 5. They have no real defensive tech. They're armor 1. Only have 2 health because they're a size 1. And they just get blasted off the field every time.
And I'm not sure if we talked to this. You got 5 points, and I ended up with 16.
Yep.
So it was a huge...
Who got all the... and how many campaign points did you get, Ben?
I got 8.
8. That is not quite the maximum. 9 is the maximum.
Yeah, I could have got 9 if I chose to turn my hack into a victory point.
Yeah, you could have done that. So 8-0 campaign points. I ended up with 3 campaign points.
And I ended
Richie
up with 6.
Yeah, so we actually used all the campaign points.
Oh,
but,
wow.
It split a little. So
Next week, we're going to attempt to establish a foothold.
yes.
That's going to be a free-for-all.
This is crazy. This is actually... We're going to definitely record this whole game. If you have your Deadzone escalation book, if you go to page 12, this is the mission called Scatter. We're going to be using that. Now, the difference is normally on Scatter, you have one player who spawns in 4 cubes on the one corner and 4 cubes on the other corner, and they have to split their team. Instead, you get your 4 cubes as for just your team. So we're all 4 going to be on a 2-foot by 2-foot board, an 8 cube by 8 cube board, and it's going to be mayhem. We're going to be close to each other. We're going to be going nuts. If someone starts getting ahead, everybody might start to shoot that guy and get him way behind. Somebody might sneak their way into victory. We don't know. This could be really a crazy game. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's go over how people might adjust their list for that next game. Now, you don't have to give away all your secret formula, but just let's start with Richie. Richie, who do you think you're going to bring next week? You think you're going to switch up your list from what you played today, keep it about the same?
What are the victory conditions for that game? Like, I don't know too much about
slaughter, murder,
so it's just
and
killing
death.
people.
It's going to be really... so there are 4 1-point victory positions. So it'll be if you have a guy in that cube and it's not contested, you'll get a victory point off that. So that is also going to apply to the campaign points. There will be computer terminals. They'll be a lot closer, but they're the only thing you can get is the one. You can get the campaign point for that. I might switch it up and make it so you get 3 campaign points if you get the most victory points from terminals. That way you have some incentive to do terminals, but they're going to be a lot closer. So, also, if you hold those points, whoever holds the most points will probably get some points there. It is going to be a declining campaign points, so the first place is going to get 5 campaign points, second place is going to get 3 campaign points, third place 1 campaign point, last place you get nothing. Basically you're going to start in the 4 cubes in the corner, and everybody else is starting that. So everyone is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sometimes cubes away is all, which is very close.
It's very close.
That's very close.
Yeah.
As for my units, I probably won't bring in a sniper squad just because they just died. But
They're focused. Yeah, they get focused.
So, but otherwise, I don't know what else I might change up yet. I haven't really thought about it too much.
All right,
But that's probably
keep your
what
secrets.
I mean, that's probably what I'm gonna swap.
Okay.
I've also kind of thought about bringing in 2 Teratons, but that might I don't know, that might just get focused too much.
Whoa.
Like, it's
They
a
could
lot
be
of
very
points.
hard to kill. I'd be like, Ben, you're the only one who can kill them. The Mercs, kill the Teratons.
We'll pay you. We'll pay you.
Extra money.
I like money.
Especially if it becomes a fight in the middle with those 4 control points. I could see some big beefy boys
Yeah.
like that really paying off.
But
Yeah,
it's a lot of points to.
it is a lot. We're only getting 100 points.
Yeah,
That's 6.
that'd be
What's the
60.
Teraton?
There's
There's 30
30
apiece.
points
30
apiece.
piece.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben? You think you're going to switch up your mercs?
You know, Adam might not like me for this, but I have
no.
thought about.
None of us will like you for it.
Yeah.
Accurate.
I'm taking a good look at Erica Line.
Erica Delinsky?
No, the
Oh, the rock
Crystalline.
dude. Oh, she's very hard to kill.
I might
Very
end up
hard to-
buying her with my winnings, and switch Hund for her, and possibly switch the Teraton out. Maybe I'll have to think about the Teraton.
I will say,
Hacking is.
in a big game like this, defensive units are important because if your guy is really hard to kill, you got 3 people going before you get to go again. And so it might be smart to take some defensive guys.
And that's why I was thinking of Erica, because she has
Yeah.
2 armor and tough.
I think if you took Nastanza, we might shoot her off the board. She scares everyone.
I might still keep Nastanza.
Like,
She does get
she
to
could be
move jet around.
nasty in the like.
I think
she
I'm
could just
still
be
gonna
like,
keep
oh, you shoot her and
Nastanza.
it moves into
If I move anybody out, it's definitely going to be Hund,
Okay.
because I believe I just got enough points to buy Eric Line, and then I'm going to switch the turtle out for something else, possibly, maybe. His hack didn't really do much this game,
Sure.
so
Could have got you a campaign point, and that's actually something. So keep that in mind.
yeah.
What do you think, Jake?
Well, the GCPS, that's something I wanted to bring up. I was reading a little bit of the fluff putting together my Strider yesterday, and it had a little packet with background on the GCPS. I think it's kind of funny is that the GCPS, help me out with the lore here if I get anything wrong, Adam. The
Yep.
GCPS is basically the armies of big mega corporations. If you
Yes.
think about Infinity or some other Shadowrun, in the future, corporations become so big they're basically governments.
Yes.
And the GCPS is their private armies. Well, these corporations don't want to get caught messing around in these dead zones because they're these off-limit areas, whether it's due to viral outbreaks or nasty unknown aliens or whatever happens. It's just stay off of here. We're going to clean up this planet. Stay away. So what I thought was interesting was a lot of the GCPS forces found in dead zones have actually been abandoned. Their company says, "Aw, shit, we're not supposed to be here anymore. You guys are on your own. We're pulling out everything we can. Good luck." And so with that, and I almost kind of feel like the GCPS feels that way. They feel abandoned. They feel lost. They're about to die. But if we were playing at bigger sizes, they might be stronger. So anyways, with that said, I'm torn. I'm torn between... Because with us starting out closer, with us being 5 squares away, I don't know what the terrain's going to look like yet. these guys normally build heavy boards. But I'm almost wondering if some auto guns, if some las cannons would be useful, or go the opposite and just bring in some rangers. They have aerial deployment. They can drop in, take the high ground right away, give them some guns with holo sights.
You can get some high ground.
Give them grenade launchers to be disrupting people instead of relying on a mortar to do it.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. You bring up, it'd probably be a good idea to have defensive units. Boy, oh boy, do we not even have defensive units in this army.
The Strider is
Strider,
very hard to kill.
but I cannot fit him into 100 with the leader I
If you
bought.
turn him into the Ajax Strider, which has a
that's
shield
right.
and
I
a
could
spear,
change.
It's
his
very
weapons.
expensive, but because you got such cheap guys as possible, you can fit it in there. And I don't think anyone could take down that unless they specifically brought armor piercing
Something to focus
stuff.
on.
Because the Ajax is crazy. He's got a weapon that is like a frag grenade that he can just keep shooting. He throws his spear and like rips it back to him, kind of thing. Like, it's really cool. And he's got this shield, so he's armor 4, and you can fight on 5s, which doesn't sound that great until you factor in that he's huge and almost impossible to kill. So that the problem with him is he's way too expensive, and so you get very few activations if you bring that guy. And so it's like, man, do I need more guys? What? Do I need more defense? As for me, I've got defensive things. I'm thinking, and I'm not guaranteeing I'm going to do this. I really like how cool my team looks. And rule of cool is important.
Rule of cool. That's how I play.
And I love how I painted these, but I need to paint more, so I should probably maybe switch it up. I'm thinking of maybe an ogre. And if you don't know what an ogre is, you might find out. Ben knows what an ogre is.
I do know what an ogre is.
Now that's a mercenary unit, right?
No.
Oh no, it's a
this
nameless
is a nameless unit.
Okay.
Okay, you're thinking of the ogre Terminator. That's an actual. This is
That's right.
a type of crab-looking nameless dude. He's a size 3, and you can kind of see him in here. But he has 2 armor and a defender shield, so that's 3 armor on this guy. Fights on 3s. He's 35 points, and he's mean.
He used to be worse with solid.
Oh,
but
he
they
used to have
removed
solid,
that.
but now you can actually knock him down. But he has tenacious too, so there is another leader. If I can fit it, I might try the ogre, or I could stick with what I got. And it's a tough call because the ogre is so defensive. He's hard to kill.
Well, I guess I'm gonna bring a las cannon. That decided that.
But what if I don't? What if I stick with the same team? That laser cannon's not going to be as good.
That's true. I think I'm also going to kick around in some of our boxes, some of our supply depots, see if I can't maybe find a old rusty corporation medibot to bring them. I think that could
Those
really
are cool.
help
They
out.
got the defender shield, and they
Defender
bring the
shield.
medic, which gives resilient 1 to everybody.
Yep, so +1 armor and resilient in that entire cube
Yeah,
to my
that's-
team.
It's a good.
And we made enough
good.
money. I think GCPS made the most money off
You
this
did,
you
engagement here.
I made almost nothing. I made 14. We don't even know what money is. We're just like moving our tentacles over stuff, and it's like, oh, it's squishy. I'll take that. It's not worth anything. So, yeah.
Yeah, whereas I got a whopping 48. Let's say we're going 100 Ks or something in the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely could buy a medibot and have room left over. So, any final thoughts? We want to go around the table?
I think the next game is going to be some weird strategies, man,
gonna
because
be-
it's you're going to be trying to think, okay, who's in the lead? We need to focus them down, and oh man, and then there's the issue that, let's say I shoot Ben's Nastanza and I wound it.
And he gets mad.
Well, hold on, and then it's your turn, Jake, and you shoot Nastanza. You get all the points for that.
Oh, that's
So,
true.
like, do I wait till somebody else
Yeah.
takes the shot and gets the wound? Give the points to somebody else so they could win?
Yeah, set other
Ooh,
people
I don't
up.
know.
Right.
That's a tough call. So,
Yeah. And then playing into it, the overall campaign. So Ben is the top dog, right? In campaign
Ben is the
points?
top dog
So
in
far,
campaign.
in
Richie's
one game,
second.
just to clarify.
So definitely, if either of these two start to get a commanding lead in that
we
game,
might need to kind of.
oh, we want to tear them down. We
Yeah.
don't want them to just start
Why do
blowing
should-
us out of the
peg
No,
water.
them
if they
down,
team
make
up, don't
sure.
remember this is a free for all. Keep it
I'm
a
getting
free-for-all.
pegged down no matter
Keep it a
what,
free-for-all.
man.
Try to
Poor
win.
dudes having 8 in a week.
So that would be terrible having the 2 best players go against the 2 worst players. You don't want that. So just keep in mind it's a free for all. Take advantages when you can. Screw people over. That's what it's about,
Right.
man. betray your buddy. Tell no, I got your back, bro.
Hey.
Shoot him in the
It's
back.
nothing personal, just good business.
Just good business.
Good business. Make it look good on the hollow screens for the public back at home.
Oh man.
Well, yeah. So that's the recap of our week 1.
And hopefully we get some video of these games we played. They were pretty awesome. I liked mine. I thought it was a great game. We had an unbelievably close match, me and Richie.
We had a very fast match.
We had a very fast match. We definitely ended, round 3, probably?
Yeah, round 3, definitely.
But at least half an hour, 40 minutes before these guys' round 3. Something
But
like
I
that.
technically got the 12 points right at the beginning of
Yeah.
round 3, and then I just kept going and just kept collecting.
It was rough. But it's fun. Deadzone's a fun game.
Fast paced.
Very fast paced. So yeah, you guys, anybody have a good sci-fi sound off?
You should add that in. You should just
Okay.
find it somewhere, and otherwise I'll do a nameless.
Now, however, I did have a plan that if I
I got 1, 2, 3.
won a lot of games, I'm going to trade Rin the Bounty Hunter out for my...
I guess I'm gonna activate this guy.
Medic Shark.
And
Medic Shark.
you know what?
Yeah.
We'll move
That
him
sounds like an
here,
oxymoron or
and
something.
we'll shoot at your
Well,
trash.
he likes to eat people,
Trash.
It's a she.
Okay.
Okay.
but she also likes to save
Is that
them.
recording?
Was it?
Well,
It's got
She
numbers
saves them
moving
to
on
eat
it?
them later.
Yeah. You take a chunk out, then you heal them up.
Nice.
You're fed. They're healed up.
Here.
Everybody's wins.
Everybody's
right?
happy.
Troopers left.
Shoot. Yeah. Well, I got my leader.
Especially when you
here.
morphine them up,
Chill
they're
with
really
them.
happy.
Yep. That's right on. Come on, buddy. Come on.
I've got 1 hit. Wow, that was trash.
Got it.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, and I killed it.
How did you kill it? I'm shooting you.
No, I
Oh, okay, you,
I
you
just
killed
did
it as
really
like
well.
you did
I
really
did
well. Okay, I was like, how are you killing my unit?
Yeah, he just
You shoot.
ricochets bullets. No.
And I could have won the game if I had rolled just a little better.
Okay.
So we just shot at each other, and they actually played the objective.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really need to kill you. So I'm gonna use.
I really need to kill you.